Hey, church family. What does faith look like when you're walking in the dark? When your life is not going right, when your circumstances don't seem to change, when there seems to be no resolution? What does faith look like then? Well, as we turn to Psalm 88 today, Heman the Ezrahite, one of the sons of Korah, writes a psalm about a dark time in his life, a time when there seemed to be no resolution, when his circumstances didn't seem to change. And as we read this psalm today, we're going to get a picture of what that dark time looks like, but we'll also find some instruction for how we can have faith in the darkness. There's really 3 points of instruction that I want to pull out. The first is that when we're walking in the darkness, that faith is being honest with God. In verses 8 through 10, Heman says, "You have caused my companions to shun me. You have made me a horror to them. I am shut in so that I cannot escape. My eye grows dim through sorrow. Every day I call upon you, O Lord. I spread out my hand to you. Do you work wonders for the dead? Do the departed rise up to praise you?" Heman is very honest with God. He expresses his frustration with God. He expresses his emotion to God. And when we're going through the darkness, we have to understand and acknowledge that we have emotion, that we have a frustration, and it's okay to share that with God. God is big enough to handle that emotion. He's big enough to handle that frustration. The second point of instruction is that while we're walking in the darkness, that faith is calling out to God. At several points throughout this psalm, you see Heman say, "I cry out, I call out, I cry out, I bring this petition before you, God." Heman shows us that faith is going to God when we don't understand. When we're frustrated, when we're angry, when we're sad, when life doesn't seem to change, faith is going to the one who we believe can make a difference. And we do that because of the last point of instruction, and that actually comes in verse 1. In verse 1, Heman starts off by saying, "O Lord, God of my salvation." The last point of instruction is that while we're walking in the dark, faith is remembering that the Lord is our salvation. Even though our circumstances may or may not change here on this earth, even though our plight may or may not change, even though there may or may not be a resolution, as believers, we trust that Christ died to save us, and that at the end of this life, that we will step into the next life, and that at that time the darkness will lift, and that we will walk eternally in the light of Christ. Enjoy your time with Him today.